Hi, everybody. I typically don't do podcast reviews here on the channel, but I was so annoyed by this Neil Young podcast that I was listening to with breakfast this morning that I thought I would go ahead and throw a review up. This thing, this Neil Young podcast is called Long May You Young, and it is basically a podcast of Neil Young album reviews, kind of like what we do on the channel, but much more. Um, I'm much more informed than these jokers were. This podcast sounds like it was put together by a group of teenagers and not well informed teenagers. Um, the episode that I listened to was their so-called review of Song for Judy and Tonight's the Night Live at the Roxy. And by the way, we will be doing a review of Tonight's Night and Tonight's Night Live at the Roxy uh, somewhere down the road. But this podcast was so inaccurate, it annoyed the stuffing out of me. It sounds like they needed to do their homework before sending this piece of crap out into the world because it is so inaccurate, it's almost laughable. For starters, when they were reviewing Song for Judy, they didn't even know that that um, that Love Is a Rose was part of Homegrown, and you know, and when they were reviewing Tonight's Night, they falsely claimed that Neil and Carrie Snodgrass were married. They were never married. They just dated. I mean, so if you're going to do a Neil Young podcast of album reviews, get your facts straight before you go broadcasting them to the world. And so I highly recommend that if you want to learn about Neil Young, do not listen to this podcast. It is a bunch of crap.